When Amaya was 16 years old, he signed with the Cubs for a $1.25 million signing bonus. Now he's 19 and he's the only one in the entire Cubs organization playing in the Futures game. Johnson was back to his old self when he was able to dunk again. The second straight season confetti fell on the Irish after the national championship, except this time the feeling wasn't as sweet.
That's right, guys. Nic Weishar suffered an unthinkable personal loss and has used that as his own inspiration on the field, but is also helping so many others.
If Amanda makes one kick through the uprights, she'll be the first girl in Adams history to score a point for the football team. Young has been playing so well in this tournament so far that she's projected to go as high as 5th overall in several WNBA mock drafts. I'm sure you've seen it. Forrest Gump.
Correct. Oh, I love that movie.
Who wins in a one-on-one matchup between you and Forrest Gump?
In my prime, I got him.
That's right, guys. Nic Weishar suffered an unthinkable personal loss and has used that as his own inspiration on the field, but is also helping so many others.
Here come the Irish!
Before every game at Notre Dame Stadium, Nic Weishar runs through the tunnel to the south end zone, where he gets on a knee to say a prayer.
I pray to God and I pray, to Andrew to kind of watch over me.
Nic's older brother Andrew has had a huge impact on his life. Andrew is the reason Nic started playing football.
When he was in high school, I went to all of his games, and just to have that role model and that the way he played was, just a tough, gritty player, just always doing his job. You can always count on him. So from an early age, I tried to emulate that.
But 8 years ago, Nic's role model was diagnosed with colorectal cancer. 2 years later, Andrew lost his fight. He was just 21.
I think about him daily, just everything I do on the field. I think that stems from him and kind of the lessons he taught me.
The most important lesson Nic learned from Andrew was to never give up.
Cut for the Nic Weishar touchdown!
His kind of big deal was, when he was getting hospice care, he looked the nurse in the eye and told her, "I'm not done fighting." So for me to be able to come out in the field and have that "I'm not done fighting" attitude is a big deal for me.
To the back of the end zone, Weishar, touchdown, Notre Dame!
That mentality resonates throughout the entire Notre Dame football program.
He is a very influential player on our football team, and when he makes plays, it sends a real positive feeling amongst our football team.
He's a guy you want in your foxhole. Just a great guy, and through thick and thin, he'd be there for you.
But Nic is there for more than just his teammates. His family created the Andrew Weishar Foundation to fulfill Andrew's dying wish, to bring joy and ease the financial burden felt by families battling cancer. One of the foundation's big events is Wish Fest, a one-night musical festival in Chicago. Every single dollar raised by Wish Fest goes to a family who needs it.
Just the fact that, the foundation is giving to other people, and that's what, my brother asked us to do. So it's really, I wouldn't think twice about it. It's not something like that I feel like I'm, courageous for doing it or whatnot. It's just something that I feel like we were called to do.
Touchdown, Nic Weishar!
While the Weishar family is helping others, Nic says Andrew is helping him.
There's certain times, especially, you feel like you have a little extra help, and I do believe that, it's a guardian angel and, God and Andrew for sure working in my life. When you feel that extra presence, it's really cool. It's a really special experience, and I hope everyone can feel that at some point.
Chuck and Alex, the foundation has raised nearly $800,000, and through that hard work, Nic earned himself a nomination for the Capital One Courage Award given to a college football player who best displays that trait both on and off the field.
Riley High School basketball player Gabe Johnson has one thing on his mind.
Well, obviously, we always have one goal here at Riley, South Bend Riley. That's to get down and play in Banker's Life. That's our team goal. Sectional championships, regional championships, we've done that. We got to get over the hump.
But Johnson has already got over a hump, one that almost changed his life forever.
It means a lot to me to be able to still play the game that I love, considering what happened.
In June of 2016, Johnson was playing in an AAU tournament in Cincinnati. He collided with an opposing player after a layup and could not get up. Right away, Johnson knew something was wrong.
This was unbearable pain. Like, I've broken ankles, torn Achilles, all types of things, and this was a different kind of pain.
His parents took him to Memorial Hospital after coming home from the basketball tournament. Immediately, the doctors knew the injury was serious.
The orthopedic surgeon came in and kind of set the scenario for us, and the long story short is he said there's a significant possibility that he could lose the leg. And I said, lose the leg? What are we talking about here?
Johnson had developed a major blood clot in his upper thigh. He went into surgery that night and it was successful. The doctors told his family had they waited another 24 hours, they would have amputated his leg. For the next 2.5 months, Johnson's sole focus was getting back on the court again.
It was a difficult process, but I just embraced the grind because I knew where I wanted to get back.
Johnson was back to his old self when he was able to dunk again.
It was like, yeah, I can do this. I can do this again. It was like a breath of fresh air.
And when Johnson played in his first game in November of 2016, it was an emotional night.
I was happy to be able to get those competitive juices flowing again. And I actually went home and cried happy tears.
Just to see him up and, able to do all the things that he loves to do, there's nothing like it in the world.
The blood clot left Johnson with a scar that runs the entire length of his thigh, but most importantly, it made him cherish every moment.
Every day when I wake up and my feet hit the floor, the first thing I do is I thank God for still being here, because there was a possibility that I could have either died or lost my leg. And so I thank him every day to be able to even walk and run and do things that people take for granted every day.
Mark Skol Jr., News Center 16.
Now batting for the Panthers, number 22, Sergio Lira Ayala.
Northwood High School baseball player Sergio Alira Ayala is a dreamer.
I want to be in the MLB, be a superstar, play there, and just love the game.
The love for the game started for Ayala in his home country of Puerto Rico. And 2 years ago, Ayala's beloved island of enchantment was struck with disaster.
You felt like dragons throwing fireballs at the whole island. That was really scary.
Hurricane Maria hit his hometown of Bayamon, leaving his community devastated. The death toll in Puerto Rico is now over 3,000, and a tree fell onto Ayala's house.
You felt like a new island. Like, you felt like a new place where everything was different.
2 months later, Ayala and his father moved to a place that is entirely different from Puerto Rico, Indiana. And despite growing up in an entirely different culture, he's been welcomed with full arms by the Hoosier community.
I feel pretty blessed of how people are accepting me, no matter how many times I fail or do something. They know I work hard, but I'm pretty blessed.
After spending his first year in high school at Bethany Christian, Ayala moved into the Northwood district. Now he's playing a crucial role for the Panthers in the NLC.
He doesn't take, many plays off with his voice. He's very electric. He wants to pump guys up. He wants to be a leader even though he's a sophomore, which I love, and he's able to do that for us, regardless of his background.
And that's because when Ayala steps on the field, Hurricane Maria doesn't even cross his mind.
Every time I cross that fence, everything goes away. Like, all the problems or the bad moments just goes away, and you just baseball time and just enjoy playing.
He's enjoying every moment because he's lucky to be here.
A chance to be where am I and have the support. When I came here, I wasn't even close from expecting how blessed I am. So I'm just gonna stay home and keep working hard.
Mark Skol Jr., News Center 16. 63 days ago, the Irish walked off the field at AT&T Stadium in tears but motivated for the upcoming season. And the 2019 season is just around the corner. Notre Dame held its first spring practice this morning. The Irish have been in a conditioning program, but this is the first time they took the field with their helmets and started running drills. Coach Kelly says the guys that need to look good have looked really good so far, and the players are all excited to be back in the swing of things to start preparing for the upcoming season.
Man, it always feels good to get back on the field.
Way.
Just 13 more practices left before the spring game on April 13th. We'll keep you updated on all things Notre Dame football as the spring rolls on. Going into tonight's matchup against Duke, Irish guard Arike Ogunbowale sat just 12 points away from passing Skylar Diggins as Notre Dame's all-time leading scorer. And before the game, she even got a text from Diggins wishing her good luck. But the only thing standing in Ogunbowale's way of history tonight was the Duke Blue Devils. Early in the first quarter, Jackie Young finds Ogunbowale on the right wing. She drains it from deep, just 9 points away from the record. A couple of possessions later, Marina Mabry dishes it to Ogunbowale in the same exact spot. Bang! She had 6 of Notre Dame's first 10 points. With 2 minutes left in the first quarter, Abby Prohaska feeds Ogunbowale on the inbounds as she knocks down the baseline. Jay Ogunbowale sits just 4 points away from breaking the record. With time winding down in the quarter, Mabry hits Ogunbowale cutting across the middle, and her jumper beats the horn. She's just a bucket away from history. Irish laid 27-15. Then in the second quarter, Ogunbowale swipes the pass away and is on the move. Ogunbowale stops, pops, and boom, history. There it is. Arike Ogunbowale is now Notre Dame women basketball's all-time leading scorer, and she reached that mark just in the second quarter tonight. Ogunbowale finished with 25 to lead Notre Dame to the 89-61 win as she continues to add to her impressive legacy here in South Bend.
I mean, it's just really a blessing, especially of what she's accomplished here.
Ogunbowale is now all by herself at the top with 2,349 career points, and she's nowhere close to stopping. Sticking with hoops, it's been a busy offseason for Notre Dame men's basketball coach Mike Brey. Last week, Brey had his 7th annual tip-off for Heart event at Purcell Pavilion. But before that, Brey served as an analyst on CBS's pre- and post-game shows throughout the NCAA tournament. Brey is no stranger to the bright lights of TV. He's even been a guest on News Center 16's very own Countdown to Kickoff. Brey says there's nothing like being on TV and wouldn't rule out a career in broadcasting after he's done coaching.
I love doing the TV. Bro, that's retirement gig.
But Coach Brey says retirement is the last thing on his mind right now. His main focus is getting his players healthy as well as hitting the recruiting trail for next season and beyond. Live in studio, Mark Skol Jr., News Center 16. Boston College was in town for a face-off with the Irish. Halfway through the first period, Michael Graham's shot is sent off the blocker, but Matt Hellickson buries the rebound for the goal. Irish lead 1-0. Not even a minute later, Matt Steeves shoots one from the blue line and finds the back of the net. Notre Dame up by 2, and in the third period, the Irish send the puck around the horn before a Bobby Nardella shot is deflected and punched in by Colin Thiessen. Irish shut out their rival Boston College 4-0, but this was the big news of the day. Irish head coach Jeff Jackson hit a milestone. That's his 308th career victory at Notre Dame, which passes Lefty Smith for most wins in school history. After the game, Jackson downplayed hitting this milestone.
To me, it's a very overrated statistic.
It's a real honor.
So how about that? In back-to-back days, 2 Notre Dame coaches hit huge milestones. Yeah. Exactly 1 week ago, Notre Dame football wrapped up its spring with the annual Blue Gold Spring Game. And it was the final chapter of Ian Book's first spring as the starting quarterback. Book was efficient in the Blue Gold game, completing 76% of his passes, throwing for a touchdown and running one in as well. But for Book, this spring wasn't all about playing well in the spring game. It was about getting a better feel for the offense. And Notre Dame's QB1 feels like he's certainly done that. He feels like he's built up some good chemistry with his teammates this spring and wants to keep things rolling heading into the summer.
I feel like I've made a stride, so nothing crazy.
What's crazy is we have to wait 135 days until Ian Book and the Irish take the field against Louisville for the season opener. I'll have more for you on what Brian Kelly thinks of Book's progress tonight at 11.